have you seen this list on the internet of all the places that women are saying that if you take them on a first date, then they'll just immediately get the ick?
I did, and I was confused because I thought it was a great list of places to go.
Me too. It looks like a good list of, it's like, these are the places you should take me on a first date. It has the Cheesecake Factory. Girl, what? I love the Cheesecake Factory.
Hates the Cheesecake Factory. I don't.
I don't
And
even
you know what else I love?
understand.
Olive Garden.
The Olive Garden. I will fuck up a chicken Alfredo, dude. I'm going to tell you this. If John takes me to the Olive Garden for some soup salad and breadsticks, I can only assume he's looking for a BJ. And he found it. Welcome. Oh my God. Welcome. So happy to be here on our very first episode of We Talk Shit. I'm Jen.
And I'm Megan.
And we talk shit. Every week, we're just going to bring you little nuggets of gossip from the internet, from TikTok, from Reddit, from Facebook, or, you know, if we're feeling froggy, maybe our own lives. It's happy hour in a teacup with your two best gossip gal pals. Everything that we're going to say here is our opinion. We're not dropping fact bombs on you over here. Ultimately, we're just here to be nosy and have a little fun, right?
Right.
Megan, what were you up to this week?
Well, it was Halloween this week. So
it was Halloween.
Yeah. And I took my kids trick-or-treating and that was a lot of fun. It was 30 degrees, but
oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, I have a very puffy coat though.
I saw it. I saw your coat. Wait, can I say this? I had to tell you about this coat.
Yeah.
And for the listeners, I don't know, maybe Megan is nice enough that she will share this on the Instagram, but I have something controversial to say about your coat. It's vaguely labia-like. I'm just gonna say that.
Don't say that.
It sounds like it's just me.
Now that
have we just ended our friendship like on the air?
You know what? I'm done. I don't want to do this podcast anymore.
That's fine. Listen, I expected this. I knew this would come. At least nobody did a TikTok about it. No, but tell me about trick-or-treating.
Okay, so, well, I live in like a really good neighborhood for trick-or-treating. It's like half young families and then half like older families without young kids trick-or-treating. So it's like a really good balance of houses with lights on and houses without lights on. So very, very nice to walk around in.
Do you get any full-size candies?
Yeah. Oh my God. I have to share this story. Okay. So we were at one house and there was the family of the guy. He had two bowls and one bowl was full of candy and one bowl was full of potatoes.
Did you say potatoes?
I did say potatoes.
Full uncooked potatoes?
Yeah. Just, it was a bowl of potatoes. It's exactly what you have in your head right now. And he goes, you can either take a handful of candy or you can take a potato. And my son was like, oh, I want a potato. Like, he was so excited about this potato. And the guy was like, oh, hey, did you grab a potato? He was like, yeah. He's like, hey, since you got the potato, you also get a full-size candy bar.
What? Okay.
No, but that was the only thing my son had talked about. He called my dad the next morning to tell him, and he was like, Grandpa Jay, look what I got trick-or-treating, and held up the potato.
I love that.
And then
you said that you had a controversial opinion.
I do. I don't think Heidi Klum's costumes are that good. I just don't. I mean,
not Heidi Klum.
Okay. Don't come at me. I think they're made well, obviously, you know, like a worm.
What about when she was a full-blown worm? Oh my God.
I just said that. Like what?
Worm.
I don't get it. Maybe it's just me. Well, because I'm on TikTok, like scrolling and seeing all of these random people's, their costumes this year were incredible. And then it's like, oh.
I would say that. Absolutely. This year was a great year for costumes on the internet.
And then people were like, oh, what's Heidi Klum going to do? And then she was like, a peacock? But she wasn't even really a peacock. She was just The head?
Wait, she didn't have the tail?
You didn't see it?
No, I haven't seen it. Should I look it up right now? Oh my God, she had like a full like Gwen Stefani Harajuku behind her.
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, I'm going to say this. I think that this year was a little lackluster when you consider what else was all out there. But I think that the main thing about like Heidi is that nobody expects her to get ugly. So I think that people just respect her because she gets really ugly with her costumes, you know, like when she was a worm, for example, she looked disgusting.
Do you think that's it? Because they're not.
You know?
I mean, seeing all these other incredible, clever, creative costumes, and then it's like, okay.
You expect it, like, and she has like a full makeup team. So like she can be kind of anything that she wants. Whereas like somebody that you're going to see on TikTok had to do pretty much everything DIY.
But that's even better though. Like that they're doing it all themselves.
Right. Oh, I agree. Absolutely.
And I want to say one more thing about trick-or-treating, because I live in the Midwest and I love Midwest culture, but I really in life strive to be a driveway bonfire person. Like those people on Halloween, they look like they are having so much fun and I want that. Like,
oh yeah.
And you have like drinks and cocktails and beer, whatever.
Yeah, I think growing up when I was little, what I really wanted to be was one of the families that had like a haunted house and would put on like a full blown haunted house through like the garage and like the front rooms and stuff. I always thought that was so amazing. But I also think now as an adult, like you have to put all of that up and then you have to like take all of it down. Yeah. I don't know.
And I bet it's expensive.
Oh, I'm sure it's expensive. And I'm absolutely positive that you got some little kid that like wets himself because he gets really scared at one of the jump scares. Now you've got urine in your front room, you know?
Yeah, now you have a crying kid leaving your house.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like now there's just something a little bit creepy about having a haunted house in your house. Like, why are you inviting the children inside? Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I thought that was the coolest.
I think garage is okay.
Yeah.
Maybe backyard, but not your house. No, my kids are not going in your house. We're going to stand out here.
Well, I mean, I don't think that this is a very good segue, but I'm reading Britney Spears' book, The Woman in Me, right now.
Oh,
Are you reading it?
No, I haven't started it yet.
Oh my God. There's so much tea in this book. I can't even. There's so much tea in this. I'm going to tell you that there's a lot, of course, that comes out about Justin Timberlake, and we're going to get back to that in a second. One of the things that Justin Timberlake said to a person who is a journalist is that he is very unhappy that the timing of the book release coincided with his wedding anniversary. You said that with your mouth? Oh my God. And like everybody's like, just give Justin some grace. He was 20 years old. And it's like, no, we gave him grace when he was 20 years old. Like now it's time to explain yourself. You know what I mean?
I didn't know he said that about his anniversary, but it's like, it's not about you. Oh. Like, I mean, it is technically about you. I mean, but it's not.
No, like part of it is about him. It's really not. It's really not about him. It's about like her finally being able to tell her story. But the best thing that I've heard so far about Justin is this incredible story that she tells when they're in New York together and they see Genuine where they're walking down the street, which sounds like a very New York story, but I'm going to play it for you. Okay.
Sometimes I thought they tried too hard to fit in. One day, Jay and I were in New York, going to parts of town I'd never been to before. Walking our way was a guy with a huge blinged out medallion. He was flanked by 2 giant security guards. Jay got all excited and said so loud, "Oh yeah, faux shiz, Genuine. What's up, homie?"
Like, excuse me? I mean, I don't understand how Britney Spears did not melt into the sidewalk. That's last call for me.
Oh my God.
Pay your tab, leave the bar.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The fact that he's white is what makes it the most cringe. But even if she had a black boyfriend who walked up to Genuine and said, faux shiz, that's enough. We're done here.
And this was still
like you
in his curly hair ramen phase, right?
I don't remember, but I also know that he went to dreadlocks for a little while, and it could have been like when he was in not dreadlocks, but cornrows. You remember when he did the cornrows for a little while? Bless his heart.
I do remember that, Justin. Ugh, go
Oh
home,
my God, we
Justin.
gave him so much grace. We gave him so much grace. Go home, you're drunk.
Go home.
Seriously. The lights have come on.
Yeah.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Stop. That's enough.
Exactly. Justin, your mom called. She needs you to go home.
You need to call your mom. Maybe she'll come pick you up.
Do you want to tell us who we're going to talk shit about this week?
I would love to tell you who we're talking shit about this week. This is going to be the story of Jason Collier and his 7 girlfriends. Do you remember or know this story?
I vaguely remember.
Vaguely?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I am really happy to be the person to bring it back for you. And I'm so excited. Okay. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be talking about Jason Collier, who, as I said before, is a wheat tortilla of a man. He is butterless bread. But I don't want to start in with the man of mediocrity. I want to start in with Cecily Steinmetz because she's just a lot more interesting. So Cecily, she seems like a gal that you and I could talk to. She's 39. She's a divorced mother of 2. She lives in Amarillo, Texas, which is pretty rural. And she's ready to put herself out there, find somebody to spend her time with. It's December, it's cold. She wants some warm arms around her shoulders and maybe some presents. Yeah. Cuffing season can be very difficult when you're single, don't you think?
Yeah, well, she needs a little snuggle buddy.
Somebody so that when you go home for Christmas, your family isn't like, so you looking? Are you out there? My grandfather used to ask me, how's your social life? And I'd be like, what? She puts herself on a dating app. And almost immediately, she does get a like from a handsome police officer. But something about being on the app with all of the messages she's getting, suddenly she's inundated. She's like super uncomfortable. She's like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. And she deletes her profile. She basically had thought like maybe after the holidays, she's got to get through this holiday with her kids and it's like Christmas and she's going to do all that. Just who has time to be going on these silly little first dates to the local Applebee's or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have kids too. So like, I know like once December, it's like, you gotta stay on track and be focused because you gotta get decorations, you gotta get gifts. There's always school shit going on, like it's busy.
They have their little school plays and stuff like that usually every Christmas, right?
Yes. They're called holiday shows now.
Oh, my bad. Right. Holiday shows, of course. And do they do other holidays? Are they involved with Hanukkah or?
Nope. Holiday. Blanket statement.
So just the one holiday. I really am appreciating the inclusivity. But yeah, she's just got a lot going on. Well, she puts out a new profile on the same app. And within a couple of days, she gets a message from that police officer who liked her before the holidays. And she said that it was just a few hours before they had exchanged phone numbers and they were talking and texting. It's just all very exciting. That part in a relationship where you're just like, you're so excited to get those texts.
Well, and that seems fast too. If they only met, well, I guess they met before, but like, being on an app a couple hours and then he already has your phone number, like
that's fast. She was excited and she liked him and she thought he was cool. One thing about him that she learns in these conversations is that he's not just a police officer. He's actually the chief of police in Stinnett, Texas. So she's like, like this is exciting, right?
Yeah, hey now.
She's a person who trusts the police. When she found out that he was the chief of police, she was like, oh, he's held up to a higher standard. I can believe everything he says. There was no reason for her not to believe him, right?
Yeah, no.
I can totally appreciate that, like, I think that you would think that they'd be more worried about like their public face if they're the chief of police. But this is interesting. I did look up Stinnett, Texas, and this is really interesting. It's a very small town. There's only 1,900 people that live in that town.
Oh, that is very small.
So I feel like everybody knows everybody's business in that place.
Yeah, you would think
Everybody.
you wouldn't be goofing around.
Oh gosh, no. You see each other at church, or at the Piggly Wiggly. I don't know if they have a Piggly Wiggly there in Texas.
Oh my God, I've always wanted to go to a Piggly Wiggly.
It's fine. It's fine.
Because, oh my gosh, no, because did you ever watch Extreme Couponers?
Yeah.
That's where they would go.
Yeah.
They would go to Pig. And I was like,
go to Piggly Wiggly.
I want to do that. Anyway, that's just that's me.
Well, yeah, no, I remember seeing that movie Win a Date with Tad Hamilton, and they work at a Piggly Wiggly. And so before I moved to the South, I was like, I got to go to a Piggly Wiggly. And then when I got here, I went to one and I was like, well, that was a Piggly Wiggly. Like there was nothing.
Well, I was there and it certainly was a Piggly Wiggly.
And I did the thing and it has happened. But anyway, so the state of Texas has 1,900 people in it, which is so small. And the police force has 4 officers and 3 standbys. So if old Rick has to call out sick with the flu, they've got 3 standbys to choose from. So that means that altogether, the police force is 8 people, including their chief.
That seems small.
That's very small. If they wanted to go to the Olive Garden, they could all fit in one booth.
Yeah. They wouldn't even have to make a reservation.
They wouldn't have to make a reservation. They could have a barbecue and they could buy 1 bag of hot dog buns and 1 bag of hamburger buns, and they would have leftover bread at the end of the bar. And what's even crazier is that they can't really have a social event with all of the cops in town because somebody is always at work. I'm from the suburbs and I'm used to seeing like 2 or 3 cop cars on every single road. So to hear about a town that has basically 4, that's insane to me. But nevertheless, he's the chief of police. So she's very taken with that. And she said that there was an immediate connection, quote, it was just comfortable talking to him. He's charming and respectful. So it just sounds like she really is really, really into him. Another thing is that he told her that he had been divorced since 2016 and that he spent the last 4 years working on himself and he's finally ready to settle down. So he's really putting himself out there. He also told her she was the first woman that he had dated since his divorce. Now, I don't know about you, but that would make me feel some kind of way. I'd be like, wow, I must be incredibly special.
Well, yeah, because if 4 years he hasn't dated anyone and now he wants to go out with you,
right.
I'd be like, oh, wow, there must be like a light around me, a glow.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm a very, very special person. This chief of police wants to take me on dates. One of the things also that he has, which I consider a red flag, but he has an Android, so they can't FaceTime. So they're just having these green text conversations all day long. So he gets her to download the Marco Polo app. So they're just sending each other videos all day long, which is also pretty intimate. Even though they're not like naked videos, it's still like you're sitting in your car or in your living room or something. So it's intimate in that you're like really brought into that person's life. So that's one of the ways that they're communicating with each other.
Well, and I also think like you can see they're real, like it's a real person you're talking to.
I've watched almost every single season of Catfish, and you do want to make sure you're talking to the person that you think you're talking to, like almost immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing about them is that he lives in Stinnett and it is 60 miles north of Amarillo, which I feel like is a really long drive. But then again, they both live in really rural areas. So it's probably like expected that there's going to be a little bit of a commute. They can't just go on a date right away because, there is a little bit of distance. But another red flag, he told her, in one of their first conversations, he says, hey, if you come across an article saying that I'm married with 4 children, it's just wrong. That's not the case. He's like, I've reached out to that news outlet and told them that they're wrong. If you want the updated version, just go to the Stinnett Police Facebook page. I think that's kind of a red flag. I think that's a pretty big one,
Yeah, because you know what I would do if somebody told me, don't read this article about me? I would go and read the article. I would have your name in Google.
Almost immediate.
I
would have the name in the Google field while you were telling me not to look at the article. I would have already started searching.
I wouldn't even hang up the phone before I had your name pulled up.
Yeah. Another thing about him is that he's, like I said, he's not just a police officer, he's the chief of police, but he also travels for work. If you're surprised to hear that a rural police chief travels for work, so was I. But he has a little side gig where he gets dispatched for national emergencies. He is a tactical consult, and he assists in things like the protests that arose after the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis and the Nashville bombing that was here on Christmas 2020. Do you know about that one?
I don't think I do.
It's okay because you don't live here, but it was wild here. I'm just going to briefly tell you the story because I don't know. I'm feeling like I want to tell you this crazy story. Basically, it's Christmas morning, okay? And one of our like main like entertainment streets is 2nd Avenue North. And it's mainly bars, like Coyote Ugly is on that street. The Melting Pot was on that street, like Hooters, like it's just mainly bars. It's got a few residential like apartments above storefronts, but it's mainly just bars. And it's really early in the morning. I want to say maybe 6:30, 7 in the morning. And this RV drives down 2nd Avenue and it is playing a recording of the song Downtown. Do you know that song?
Of course I do.
It's the spookiest. It's like songs that are just like sort of forced happy are kind of spooky in a situation like this. So it's 6:30 in the morning and it's like, when you're alone and life is making you lonely. It's like, oh my God, what is that?
Oh,
and then the
actually,
next recording.
I was thinking the Macklemore version. Down.
Oh yeah, no.
Okay.
No. Immediately following Downtown is the sound of so many guns. It's a recording of just a bunch of guns. And they were fake. It was just a recording, but it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It woke up everybody that lived in town and they all called the police at the same time. So the police get there, and by the time the police are there, there's a new recording playing from the RV that's like, please evacuate the area. This RV will explode in 15 minutes. So the police go straight to work, pounding on doors, getting everybody to be like, get your kids, get your shit, get your dog. You got to get out of here. It's going to explode. And people are outside, like, you know, with no shoes on in the middle of the street, like 2 blocks away from their apartments on Christmas Day. And then the next thing that happens is the RV blows up and it just explodes and it destroys the street. Like, I mean, all of the restaurants, they're gone. Like, it just, like, it doesn't level it, but it pretty much does. And, you know, it was crazy because he didn't want anybody to die. That's why he put that recording out that was like evacuate and everything. I don't think that he cared about restaurants. What it turns out that he cared about was that he thought that like 5G was the issue and that it had caused the coronavirus. And right across the street from all of the restaurants is this like really nondescript building with absolutely no signage. And that is where AT&T is for all of Nashville. So if you have AT&T internet in your house, if you have an AT&T phone, you had nothing. You had a brick because it was gone.
That's insane. I never heard of that.
Yeah. And like, well, I had AT&T at the time and I was driving for like DoorDash at the time because it was post-pandemic. It was like, you know, end of 2020. There was not really much else to do for money. And I couldn't anymore because I had no service. Like I had no cell service at all. And I don't think that I would have even known how serious this bombing was. But my husband was the general manager of the Melting Pot at the time. So that place blew up and we saw the explosion through all of the like cameras and stuff like that. It was absolutely insane. But apparently, like I said, Jason Collier was here for that. I don't know that we really needed that much of assistance, like unless he was somehow able to get here before the call went out. But like once it exploded, it just exploded. And
Yeah.
people, you know, just figured out how they were going to move. Merry Christmas. He says that he's working on his master's degree in emergency management and that he's often contracted out to other law enforcement agencies for emergency management planning. So very busy guy. And the whole point of him telling her that is that he is going to be in Lubbock, which is fairly close to Amarillo. And he's like, I'm going to be in town talking to the Secret Service. And so we should just go out on a little date. And she's like, yes, 1,000 times yes, stars in her eyes. So she's very excited. They go out on a little date on Sunday, January 17th. And she says it's absolute magic. She has a great time. And she said it was everything she could have asked for. He's kind, polite, complimentary. The check comes and he does pay, which is kind. But the check comes and he's like, hey, write down your maiden name, write down your married name. He takes a piece of paper and he does some handwriting analysis. So he's just doing a little showing off.
Yeah. You know,
I don't know.
classic first
Well,
date stuff.
how would you feel?
I would not like that. She could have written anything. Like, why did...
Right.
I don't know.
Steal my identity. Honestly, that's fine. Maybe you can work with this credit score because I can't do anything with it. So I can't get a car loan. I can't get one now. So he does that, but they're just so happy. Like they really, really, really like each other. They decide to go out the very next night. And you and I were both servers, so we both know what an interesting move this is. But the second date, the very second date, which is the day after they have met for the first time, they meet at the restaurant and he tells her that he wants the same side seat. So everybody knows that they're a couple.
Ugh.
It's so awkward. I mean, just as a server, I'm like always afraid I'm going to roll up on somebody that's like making out, you know, or like finger banging, which I actually have walked up on.
Ew.
And oh, it's horrifying. It's like, here's your nacho. Oh my God. All right. Did you guys want another margarita? But no, it's so weird. But like to have just met and be same side seating. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that was a real gamble on his part because what if she'd have been like, no.
Yeah. Well, and how do you have a conversation?
You got to crane your neck.
Yeah.
To have a conversation.
No, I'm not doing that.
I'm not going to do that. But she's super into it. And she takes a selfie with him. And she's like, I'm going to post this on Facebook. And he was like, yes, please post this on Facebook. Like, he's super happy about it. So everything seems to be moving at light speed. And they're just living the dream, like, straight away. Tuesday, January 19th, is the day after she posted the photo on Facebook. And things get weird. So she has a message from a friend who's like, hey, that guy that you just posted a picture of, he looks really familiar. Like, what's his first and last name? And she's like, it's Jason Collier. She's like, yeah, I think he's married, which is another red flag. Like, we've got so many flags now that we could be in the end of Act 1 of Les Mis, but she just keeps going. She's super confident. She's like, I checked him out already. I know his ex-wife is named Mandy. And I feel really secure. But minutes later, the girlfriend, who is another person that I would love to meet for like a drink one day, she's like immediately shooting back with photos and screenshots of his wedding with a woman who is not the ex-wife that he told her about. There is one of him wishing his wife, Opal, a happy anniversary in September of 2020. Now, remember, we're in January of 2021 at this point. So he says that he's been divorced since 2016, but this is from 2020. And he's standing there saying, for the love of my life, I'm the mother of my 4 children, Opal, happy anniversary. Now tides are beginning to turn and she's like, I just saw this. Just really quick question. Who is Opal? Why did you tell me you were divorced? Are you married? Why does it say you have 4 children? You know, she just kind of lays in and she's really crushed. And he finally admits to her that Opal is his other ex.
So now he has 2 ex-wives.
So now he's got 2 ex-wives. Only Opal, he said their marriage was very short-lived. And after a bad incident, which he won't go into detail about, they got their marriage annulled. And she's like, no, we're going to need to talk about this. And she tries to call him, but he won't answer. He said that he was in a school zone. So can't be on the phone.
Fair.
I don't know.
Like, I mean, don't be on your phone in general while you're driving, but like especially a school zone. But also
especially a school zone, I guess.
If she is sending him all of this stuff, wouldn't he want to correct it immediately?
I'd be like, oh shit. Like, I'd get on the phone. I'd pull my car over. You know, he must be in the cruiser. I'd pull that shit over and I'd get on the phone with her, but you don't want to talk.
Do you think he wanted to take time to make up a new story?
Yes, Actually, I really do. I think that he wanted to take his time. But she's like, if the marriage was annulled, why are these posts as recently as September of 2020? And he finally texts her back and he's like, hey, girl, we're definitely annulled. And I'm just looking for the paperwork right here and I'll show it to you. And finally, he does show her. And he sends her some paperwork, some documents that look really legit. They've got a signature from a judge. They're stamped. Like, this is clearly filed with the county. And our girl, who's, I mean, she's really starting to prove herself, says she's going to do a search just to be safe. And it catches him off guard. But he's like, yeah, we're doing open record search. So
See, because
I think that this is a lot of turmoil for the first 5 days of a relation.
oh my gosh. And can you imagine if the first 5 days are like that? What's the next month, 2 months, 3 months going to be?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, do you really want to end up the next Opal? Bless her heart. She's the real victim in all of this. She's like, hey, while I'm waiting for this open record search, I would really like to talk to Opal directly. Can I just have her number? And Jason agrees and he gives her a phone number. And she texts and Opal confirmed that they have been divorced since 2016. And she was like, I just wanted to make sure that Jason isn't married. She's like, no. I was so embarrassed that this relationship ended the way it did. And I was afraid that it was going to affect my life and affect my job. So I just keep posting things that make it seem like we're still married. And she's like, okay, sis.
She should have
Yeah.
insisted on meeting in person.
Or speaking on the phone, not texting.
Because you know who's on the other end of that text? Jason.
Oh, 100% this was a Google number. 100% this was not anybody named Opal. But like one of the things that she says is like, listen, he's single, he's a great guy, go for it. And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Like, this is bad. Like, back away from this. Like,
Yeah.
because if I had ended a relationship, a marriage badly, I wouldn't be like, yeah, you should definitely go out with him. He's great. I don't know. But that's just me. And I don't have any judgment for Opal. But that would be a huge, like, glitter sequin red flag.
Right.
to me.
Because if you had a bad marriage and then you divorced and someone was like, hey, I'm dating your husband, I'd be like, fuck that guy. He's a piece of shit. Guess what? He never does the dishes. Like,
Right. I'd be like, I don't know, sis. I don't know you very well, but I wouldn't,
Yeah. If
like,
it were,
I don't know.
If it were me,
But I'm a girl's girl.
I wouldn't. But you do you.
Yeah. Well, anyway, she accepts this and she moves on. She tells him that, she tells Jason she's so sorry that she like didn't believe him at first. And he kind of makes her feel bad. And it's like, I can't believe that you didn't believe me. I told you so. And she's like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm so sorry. And she just wants to move on. But the minute that she gets off that phone call, and I mean, she hangs up the phone and the phone rings again. And it is the county clerk's office calling her back with the open record search. The timing is unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this is the universe being like, girl. He's like, sorry, but there is no such document. Like, there is no such annulment in my records. And she's like, well, could it be lost? Could it be so that like people can't search it? And he's like, it's possible that happened, but it's not probable. And she's like, okay. She brings it to Jason again, of course. And he's like, well, Judge Lopez signed off on it. It's in my safe right now. If this annulment isn't legit, that's news to me. She's not comfortable with that. She tried again to get him to have a conversation. She says, hey, I'll drive to Stinnett right now. We can sit down and have a conversation, have a face-to-face. But he's like, no, I mean, I would. Honey, I would. Oh, it's just such a bad time. I have to serve this search warrant tonight. Which, well, okay, here's the thing. I would believe him that he had to serve a search warrant because he's a police chief. And I think that like those are big words and I'm a true crime person. And so I'd be like, neat. What's the case about? Like he would have completely distracted me with that,
Yeah. And again, like even with all of these lies, if he said serve a warrant, I would believe it. He's a cop.
Yeah. And she's like, well, I mean, I can still come into town. He's like, yeah, you're welcome to wait, but I don't know how long this is going to take. And he's texting her all night. He's giving her updates. He's like, we're about to breach the door. I just just giggle about that because I just think of him like standing there with like that battering ram, like they're holding in his hand and he just like whips out the phone and is like, hang on 1 second, guys. I'm just going to really quickly, we're about to breach the door. Send. Okay, ready? 1, 2, like.
Oh my God.
No, we're going on 3, not after 3, on 3. So it's 1, 2, then go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ready? 1, 2. So in the morning, he said that they weren't done until 1 a.m. because they had to call the DEA because there were just so many, quote, guns, weapons, and drugs. It was a very big ordeal. So once again, with me being a true crime person, I would have been like, that is so fucking badass. Like, what else? Tell me everything. Where were the drugs hid? She decides to believe him. She says she doesn't want to be a nagging girlfriend, which, I mean, says it's been like 6 days, nag him. But yeah, no, I like him. So I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah.
And so she just went with it. On January 22nd, this is actually 5 days after they had their first date. On January 22nd, they decide to go on a little trip together to Taos, New Mexico. Hey, I think that we've talked about this before, but how long had you been with your husband before you went on your first road trip?
A while. I don't think
Yeah.
I would get in a car with anybody I just met 5 days ago.
I mean, a road trip.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're going to pick me up and we're going to go somewhere, like, you know, if we're going to go to the Piggly Wiggly, I'm like, yeah, like that's fine. But if you're going to be in like an hours long road trip with this person, like you have no idea what their music taste is.
Oh my God. And
what their road snacking situation
especially
is.
if you are driving from Texas to Taos, there's nothing there. There's no stops.
Nothing.
You're in the desert.
No.
So if something goes wrong, you're going to be on Dateline.
Oh my God. Yeah, if the car breaks down, you're just in the middle of the fucking desert.
Yeah. There's
with a
nothing.
stranger, basically.
Yes. There's no Piggly Wiggly that you can go stop and get gas at. Or
I didn't even think of it. But they had a great time on their trip. Like, this is wild. Jason saves a man's life. At one point, they're like standing on a bridge and there's a guy there and he's on drugs and he's threatening to jump. And like Jason like leaps into action and saves his life, basically like gets him to come down and all of that. I mean, she's got heart eyes. Honestly, like if her deal wasn't sealed before, it is sealed right then because they definitely consummate their relationship for the first time.
Hero.
He's a hero. Yeah. She said that it wasn't great. She's like, it wasn't great, but I chose to love him for him. And I'm like, girl, come on. 5 days in.
5?
Well, I guess maybe 6 days.
6, 5. It's less than a week.
It's not a long time to let a guy who's bad in bed. And I'm sure he had a great time, but you know, she was just like, nah, give or take. He told her that he loved her for the first time on that trip. She said that he brought up marriage no less than 50 times. And when he is driving her home, he's like, so make sure that you look up engagement rings and send them to me because I'd like to get one for you.
Oh my God.
I don't want to judge her. I really don't. I feel like she must be like just so excited that like her first time out, she like knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't even need this app anymore.
Right. Just toss the phone out the window. Like, what are you even doing? Like, this is it. I met my guy. So they get home and it's like half an hour after he drops her off and he texts her and he's like, I miss you already. And she's like, oh my God, I miss you so much. I'm thinking of you. And he's like, I'm thinking of you. And then another 30 minutes go by and then he texts her, hey, we need to slow this way down.
Oh my God. I would love to know where men find the audacity.
Yeah, it's even weirder, dude, because he's like, we need to slow this way down because we have a lot of differences. One of them is that he doesn't believe that she has a serious relationship with God, which is like, I mean, okay, like, that's fine. The other one is that she doesn't like seafood.
She doesn't like seafood, and he has a problem with that.
She doesn't like seafood. Yeah, she's like, what are you talking about? I don't like salmon. Like, what does that have to do with literally anything in the world?
There are many other restaurants besides Red Lobster that we can go to. We don't have to go to the Red Lobster.
Right?
Olive Garden.
Red Lobster.
Olive Garden down the street.
Olive Garden is like, you can have your seafood Alfredo, you know, and I'll have my chicken parm. I don't see what the big deal is. She's really irritated now because not only did she overlook the first marriage, she overlooked the second marriage. She overlooked the not answering the phone. There was all these questions. She chose to just completely ignore them. And now he's like, no, girl, you don't like seafood. And she's like, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to get out of your life. How's that sound? Good? Good. And I'm like, yes, bitch.
Yeah. Bye.
Finally, get him out of there. So she gets together with the girls for some We Hate Men cocktails. 2021, I'm going to guess there was at least one espresso martini on the table. And they're loving it. And that friend who says that she knows for a fact that he's married, the one, in the very beginning of the story who was trying to talk some sense into our girl.
Right.
She's like, listen, I'm so sorry, but I continued researching after you told me to stop. So, I found a girl named Christy who had some very glowing compliments for Jason on the Senate Police Facebook page. And she said that he's the most fair and equitable man that she's ever met. And so they go to that comment on the Facebook, they click on her profile, and the picture that she has is of the two of them together, and they're engaged. She's showing the ring.
Oh my God. So a couple days ago would have been when she was still with him, right?
Yeah. Cecily contacts her immediately on Facebook. She's like, hey, girl, I have just broken up with Jason Collier today. It looks like you guys are engaged. What's that about?
Yeah.
And Christy doesn't go, hey, stop calling me, you're a weirdo. They get into a very detailed conversation. They start comparing notes, and they realize they've both been played by the same married man.
Can you imagine?
No.
I don't even know what I would do.
I don't know. Because there'd be part of me that would be like, let's just forget about him. Let's do something else. And then there's another part of me that would be like, we need to drive to his house because I'm going to punch him in his dick.
Yeah. I feel like if I was sober and found out that news, I'd just be like, fuck that guy. But if I had a few cocktails in me.
Oh my God, the flood of texts that this man would get if I was just one rosé in. I'm totally serious.
Let alone martinis.
Oh my God. Yeah,
oh,
no.
Man. It's like that.
Don't get me involved with a martini.
Or a margarita. Ooh.
Oh, margaritas are dangerous.
They're very dangerous. I can only have one.
There's so much alcohol in it. People think it's a light drink because it's fruity, but no, it's mainly alcohol.
And sugar.
And a little bit of lime juice.
Alcohol and sugar.
Yeah. Well, okay, so Cecily's furious. She's gotten into this conversation with Christy, and they're both angry. They do a little digging. They find out about Opal, who he's currently married to right now. They do have 4 children. All of that is true. He told her that wasn't true. That's the part that's not true. He is married to Opal and has been for a very long time, and they've got 4 children together. I mean, listen, okay? It is 2021. There is no vaccine. Those children are being homeschooled.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. He is not only having a full-time job, which I guess Opal stays home with the kids, which is just a fucking nightmare, but also he's traveling around and sleeping with now 3 different women.
I would be livid because that was me. I was home with my very young children in a house. You couldn't go to the park. They were all blocked off. You couldn't do anything. And it was winter. It was -20. And I was losing my mind.
Just kids, could you just not be kids for just
shh. I let my kids watch an insane amount of TV because there's nothing else to do. Nothing else to do.
Yeah. Well, you got to put them in front of a screen so you can have a little bit of time to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no judgment there at all. But Cecily's furious. So is Christy. Cecily has been drinking. And so she decides to make a post and put it on the Senate Police Facebook page, the infamous Facebook page, right? And she's like, I have been in a relationship with your chief of police who is living a double/triple life. He has another girlfriend that we know of, and he is also married with 4 children. I mean, she lays in, right? And of course, the post goes super, super viral because who doesn't love that kind of tea on the internet. Like, if you don't, you're lying. Honestly, I think that's it. You're lying.
Yeah.
If it doesn't involve you, who couldn't get involved with some tea? But I didn't see the post until after it blew up. And the reason why it blew up was because there were comments on the post. And some of the comments were from his current girlfriends. And there ended up being, altogether, including herself and Christy, 7. There were 7.
7?
7 women altogether. And one is Katie. The only reason I'm bringing this one up is that Katie met on the same dating app and said that he drove down to Abilene, Texas to spend the weekend with her on January 16th and 17th. Do you remember what happened on January 17th?
That was Cecily's first date, right? Oh.
The very next day, he's going same side sea with me.
Oh my God. So he went to go have lunch with Katie, was like, bye, I gotta go do this thing. It's very important. I can't explain it.
Yeah, she said he stayed at a local hotel. We met for lunch. He was charming and polite. He told me that he was not only the chief of police of Senate, but some sort of police chaplain, and how he was a godly man, and he was always praying for me and over me. He tried to end things with her on January 26th, and she got a text from him saying, like, we need to step way back. It turns out that the reason was because the post had gone viral, because, like, the very next day, she saw the post and started commenting on it.
It doesn't sound like he was getting much police chiefing done.
Exactly. Another thing is that he's the chief of police. So he's like, I guess, 4 officers and 3 standbys. He's their boss. So once that thing goes viral, like, these guys are like, hey, chief, I don't know if you're in the office or if you're fucking some woman, but he's their boss. That's so embarrassing.
The way I would get away with everything. Like, oh, you want to write me up? How many new girlfriends did you have this week? Like, no, I would bring it up.
Right? I'm so sorry. I saw you go viral again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, your phone went off. Was it your wife or your girlfriend?
Is that Opal? Is it Katie? Christy? Natalie? Okay, so one might think that the worst thing that could happen happened. Like, they posted all of his personal stuff out there and everybody's making fun of him and he's the butt of every joke. They're making fun of him on some, like, late night TV shows and shit like that. And that's the worst thing that could happen. It's not. So just as the post is losing steam, our girl Cecily gets contacted by the Texas Rangers, which are the cutest little police people in the world, because they're like, they have jurisdiction all over the state of Texas, and it's part of their uniform. They have to wear, like, this 2-gallon white cowboy hat.
I love that.
It's so Texas. I love it. I can just picture all of them just ripping into a ribeye steak. But she gets contacted by them, and it's because of the document. They're like, can we see the document? And she's like, the annulment papers, and she shows it to them, and it turns out that it is completely fake. It is a forged fake document. And when you're the chief of police, you can't be going into the clerk's office and stealing an annulment paper and signing it and stamping it and making it look real. That is fraud.
Yeah. And you would think, police chief, you would know what fraud is.
That he would know. Yeah. I'm sure at this point he was just like, anything to get away with anything. Like, he at this point has 7 girlfriends. He's running out of money. He's like, well, what am I going to do?
He's like, you know what? It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Like, don't worry. Just stamped it.
This is fine. Nobody's going to know.
How would anybody know?
But he gets held on a $10,000 bond. Now, I don't think that he served any jail time. I think probably with his connection to the police, they probably just let him go, like maybe probation or something like that. But he is no longer a cop. So the where are they now of Jason Collier is he is now a customer experience supervisor with Greyhound Bus. Good for him.
Love it.
We don't know about what happened with these women, but our girl Opal did quietly file for divorce right after this happened. And I hope that she's living her best life.
I hope she is living her best life. And I hope her next husband, if she chooses to get married, is some sexy rich man and she can put those kids in daycare.
She deserves it. She deserves it. She should be able to have a daytime drink.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't even have to get a job. Just put your kids in daycare and stay home. That's fine.
I like to imagine that all 8 of the women just go on like yearly girls' trips.
Oh my God, I would love that. They all go to Vegas or something.
I love that. Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be like, how do you guys know each
Yeah,
other?
yeah.
Oh, well, here's the thing about how we know each other. We were dating the same guy at the same time.
We all had experience with the same mediocre police dick. Any final thoughts on this story?
Trust your gut. Just if you feel bad vibes or something is off.
My final thought, I think, on this is if you have a badass best friend who has taken the time to look up the guy that you're dating, listen to her.
Yes.
Listen to her. She knows what she's talking about.
Screenshots and other actual real things. It's probably true.
More than likely. And if he asks you to same side seat on the second date, run away.
Red flag.
I can't decide what is more cringy, asking me to same side seat on the second date or seeing Genuine and going, oh yeah, faux shiz. All right, that's our show. How does it feel?
We
did it.
We did it, Joe.
I'm so excited. I just want to say thank you to any of our guests that have joined us for this first episode. I know that the first episode can be a little bit awkward, but I'm so happy that you're here with us. And we look forward to so many more episodes in the future. In fact, friend of the pod and all-around great gal, Ellen Marie Marsh, has sent us a little advice that I'd really love to play for all of the listeners.
Oh, hey, Queens. Happy inaugural podcast day. I'm so excited to listen. This is Ellen Marsh from I Think Not, Rabia and Ellen Solve the Case and Shut the Fuck Up, Nick Lachey. Yes, all I do is make podcasts, so I'm so excited you guys are joining the ranks of the podcasting world. Hi, Jen. Hi, Megan. My advice is I have no fucking clue. Just talk, and some people will like your talking, and some people will hate your talking. Some people will like the sound of your voice, and some people will want to jump off a bridge when they hear the sound of your voice. But just do it, and also edit the shit out of it, because I hate breathing. I literally hate the sound of breathing. That's my only advice. Edit out the breaths, or don't breathe and hold your breath. I guess that's my advice. But my advice is just be authentic. Honestly, what can you do? You just sit in a box and talk into a microphone and cross your fingers that people don't send you flaming bags of poop. And they might. And then you have poop on your shoes. And that's not the worst thing in the world. You know what I mean? But I can't wait to listen. I hope you guys have a blast. You can always reach out to me for everything. And love you. And just don't be an asshole. That's only the only rule of life, right? That's my life advice. Love you. Bye.
Oh my God, she's so great.
She is the nicest person.
Yeah, I just feel super blessed that I have had the opportunity to get to know her a little bit. She's so cool. And I'm so excited that she decided to bless us with a little bit of good luck and advice. So I'm so excited. Megan, where can our new friends find us?
We are on Facebook at We Talk Shit Podcast, but the S in shit is a $, like Kesha.
$.
And on Instagram is We Talk Shit the podcast, but no $.
No $.
Yeah,
No.
and please follow us on Facebook because it's only Jen and I in there, and it's very lonely. We're just yelling at each other from across the country.
Just screaming at each other. It's just the two of us. I know that it's cliche, but join the Facebook group because that's how you guys can send us ideas for new episodes. And we love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who are we talking shit about next time?
Oh my gosh. We are talking about Kim Zolciak Bierman.
She's a housewife, right?
Yeah, from Atlanta. She's wild.
Oh, she's a former housewife. She is pretty crazy. I've only seen a couple of seasons, but she's got a wild life. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will let you know what she's been up to lately.
That's going to be so awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank
I
you
don't know,
for
have a great day.
listening.
Listening.